Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you do go hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. As always guys, I'll go through the USD side of things first, take a look at the dollar, the USD majors, gold and silver. Of course, let me know any requests, any pairs you want me to take a look at, drop it in the chat and we will have a look, and of course let me know any time frames you're working on as well. And also check out the Discord channel to Elevating Traders, completely free to join. Discord link is in the description. You can chat with other traders, share ideas there. I share some of my ideas there as well. So if you are looking to join a community, go check it out, free to join. But yeah, we'll go through the USD side of things first. Of course, any requests, drop in the chat. What's up, D-Mar? Good morning, hope you're well. Raheel, yes, we'll take a look at EuroCAD. I'll go through the dollar pairs and then we'll take a look at EuroCAD as well. But of course, just drop the requests in the comments and we'll get to it. But first thing is first, as always, we've got the dollar. So USD looking pretty bearish this morning. Of course, we did have CPI yesterday, and that did result in some weakness for USD. As we can see, it happened around there with this 4-hour candle. And looks like we're heading back to the lows here at 98 more or less. So looks like that overall trend is just continuing, which is what we were speaking on throughout the week pretty much, in terms of this bearish trend just basically continuing. There's no signs of reversal, so naturally I would just expect price to get back to the lows, and it looks like that is exactly what price is doing. We're only a small distance away, so I think probably by the end of today, or at least by the end of this week, we probably will be seeing some new lows. I was hoping we could see a pullback first before we do have this sell-off, because price was, in fairness, respecting support pretty well. We had quite a lot of rejection here, massive wick the other week as well. So I was kind of hoping we push to the upside, maybe take out some of the highs here, come into some fresh territory, then have that sell-off. But it looks like we're just kind of just falling to the downside. So not much I can do with that, because the pullback is not big enough for me to look for entries myself. Maybe intraday there could have been some opportunities there, but from a swing perspective, not much of a pullback to get involved there. So now my take with the dollar is just see what we do at the lows, because I still do think a bigger pullback is on the cards for USD. I'm looking at the overall picture here, and we have been falling for quite a while. Of course, we've taken out some major support to our left over here. So I do think sooner or later we will see a recovery. I mean, I think it will probably just be a bigger pullback, not necessarily a reversal. So I do expect some upside at some point, but we'll of course see what price does at these lows, whether we break them well or we become corrective. Those are the key things I'll be taking note of. But yeah, price is still pretty bearish. That might be a last minute opportunity on the retest of that level. If the market would be kind enough to pull back, there could be some nice shorts intraday there. But nonetheless, it looks like we're going to continue to fall. Euro USD pretty much the exact opposite of that, of course, looking like it's about to take up the highs there at 1.157. Consistent higher highs and higher lows. We have been pretty corrective as well for Euro, so I've been looking for a bit of a pullback before we do continue. I was talking a lot about this level here. I said as long as price stays above this high, this low, sorry, I remain bullish. Price was fading at the highs there a little bit, looking a little bit tiresome. So I was hoping we could have that bigger correction back into support and then see the follow through. But of course, in hindsight, we can see that Euro was just waiting for CPI pretty much. That was the catalyst to get things moving, because the markets were looking pretty dead yesterday. Not even just yesterday, throughout the week and last week as well. We've been pretty flat for some time now with USD. So we're waiting for that catalyst. Looks like it was CPI to get the ball rolling. And now it looks like we're about to take up the highs. But same situation as the dollar. Despite price being bullish, I do think roughly when we do take up these highs, there could be a nice sell-off to take advantage of, going a bit counter trend. But we'll discuss more of that when it's actually shaping up. Right now the market is bullish. There might be again a last minute opportunity if we were to pull back and take some trades off the back of that. But it's up to Euro if it wants to pull back, of course. But yeah, more upside, likely to take up the highs and probably push into 1.16. Pound USD, this one, not as bullish as Euro. Looks like Euro is far more bullish than Pound at the moment. I'm looking at, we'll take a look at Euro Pound later on, but I had a quick look at Euro Pound before coming into the stream, and that was looking very, very bullish. So there's a big discrepancy between Euro and Pound right now. And you can see that in the price action. Euros broke to the upside, trending well. Pound pretty much still within this range here. I think there could be a nice breakout opportunity with Pound USD if we were to clear resistance here, because it has held pretty well once and twice, and so far a third time. So I do think if price can break through this level well, there might be some nice retests, just again continue the trend to the upside. So 1.37, next big psychological level. I think that could make for a good target. But yeah, Pound for the most part still pretty sideways. I mean, the overall trend is still up. So yeah, that's still the bias for the pair. I was kind of hoping we were to push down into support this week. Again, go about 3/4 of the way there before turning around, so not quite testing that support level. But if we are going to continue bullish, we should be breaking resistance here, and then we can discuss some pullback and some retest opportunities. Take it back into the highs, and again, probably a lot further than that as well. Dollar CAD, I'm still getting ready for the buys. Again, not quite there yet. Market's still looking pretty bearish. We just looked at USD, the DXY. DXY still looks like it's in free fall. So if the dollar's still falling, it's going to be quite difficult to buy dollar CAD. But like I said, I do think DXY is just pushing back to lows to potentially see some upside soonish. So once that kind of comes to fruition, hopefully dollar CAD will set up as well. So dollar CAD's one to keep an eye on in terms of the buys. Not quite ready yet. Momentum is still with the bears, but we are coming back into a pretty big area of kind of demand on the daily chart, daily weekly chart. Massive move to the upside. We're just about to come into that zone now as well. And you can see for the most part, price is looking pretty corrective as well in this kind of wedge pattern, if you will. So I do think we're kind of squeezing, getting ready for a move higher. So that's kind of where my bias is now with dollar CAD. Not so interested with the sells. I know the market is bearish. We're still forming lower lows and lower highs. So don't get me wrong, the trajectory of the market is still down, but we're coming to an areas where I do think we can at least bounce. Again, I'm not necessarily favoring a reversal. It might just be a bounce for us to form a lower high and come back down again. But that bounce is what I'm looking to trade. And then maybe I can trade the next wave on the way down again. So, I mean, that's speaking way into the future. But for now, still interested in the longs. But as I said, not quite ready yet. Just have to keep monitoring price and keep a lookout for some entries. Aussie dollar, I'm still looking for a push down. Still a little bit flat for me. I was contemplating some entries off the back of, it's actually off the back of CPI. We had this push to the upside and price fell at the high. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Because price has been so sideways for the past few days. Then we had this bullish move. And of course, Euro was looking pretty bullish. Yeah, mainly Euro. Dollar CHF was pushing down as well. So it looked like USD weakness was coming in. So I was expecting Aussie dollar just to break the highs, but it didn't. It wicked through, pulled back, and closed bearish on the second bearish candle afterwards. So it was some nice rejection, but for the most part, was still kind of within the range. So it didn't do quite enough to justify an entry, but for the most part, I am still looking to short Aussie dollar, just biding my time, waiting for a good entry to form. I'm looking at the higher time frames. Market still looks very tight for me. I do think we can have a bit of a retracement, but not quite there yet. Again, I've spoken about this ascending channel. We still might push to the upper end of the channel as well before selling off. We've kind of got, one test over there, second more or less over there. We might see a third before we do push down. I wonder with the wicks we formed this morning, do we see a rally with this? And then do we get the sell later on? I think that looks like a nice opportunity if that was to present. But in terms of an opportunity right now, I'm not seeing anything really for Aussie dollar. Very, very choppy pair. I would just avoid doing much business in that area. Wait for us to push the extremes, whether at the lows or at the highs. I think we might find some better opportunities there and some better risk reward opportunities as well. For the most part, still very, very sideways. I'm not seeing much here. I think that's the best we can see right now for Aussie. In the middle, it's just very, very chaotic. In terms of New Zealand dollar, same sort of situation. Looks like we're still just about holding on to this ascending channel here. Market had a bit of a wick to the downside this morning. Also looks like prior resistance is still being respected as support. So you got resistance once, twice, a third time. Then we're breaking above, breaking below. So price hasn't really been respecting it too well. But then this morning, we fired a few wicks to the downside. And it looks like it's still being respected as support. So I do think we can see a bit of a move to the upside here. At least back into resistance. And not a big one, to be honest. But again, I'm not really looking to trade that. I spoke last week about the big break and retest, even the week before. But it's just been so corrective. And again, as a swing trader, looking to follow momentum like this is not really what I want to do. If anything, shorts look better. Like I said, I'll probably still wait for the break of the channel here. But I'm just not really interested in buying NZD/USD. I know dollar's weak right now. NZD is a bit weak as well. And I still think we can see a bit of a rally, but that's the best I've got right now for NZD/USD. If I'm looking to buy this, I need price to kind of break out lower, maybe form a higher low, and then talk about some buys. At these prices, I think I'll just wait for the market to develop. I'm not really seeing a good opportunity there. In terms of gold, gold steadily pushing to the upside. It was being corrected for the most part. I was talking about some selling opportunities from this level. And we did, in fairness, see a bit of a sell-off. The market did a good job at faking people out. I did say watch out for that, to be honest, especially with CPI yesterday afternoon, because I believe we were trading around here. I said price still might, wick to the highs, and then we might see a sell-off, which we did. Very aggressive move, and that's why it's always tricky in the lower time frames. Trading with CPI, NFP, Fed interest rate, is that these moves can just knock you out your position. Even if you're in the right direction, you can get knocked out your position before seeing the move. And price did a good job of doing that, and then we actually saw a nice sell-off. Didn't have a massive one. We at least came back to test support here. Didn't quite come into any of these lows, but support here held. Massive reaction, and we've been looking pretty bullish since then. So with gold, as I said, I'm still bullish on the pair. I'm just waiting for a good opportunity to buy it. As I've been saying since the start of the week, looking for price to break the high here at 33.87. And then I'll be interested for the longs. At that point, this bullish structure is still alive and well. This will be a new higher low, and then we'll see a new higher high. And that will give me the confidence to say, okay, the trend is still alive. Now I'm looking for the next higher low. The channel break is still in play. We broke out the channel, and the market's still trending to the upside. And we've still got a good chance of pushing back to 3,500. So that's still where I'm at with gold. We're slowly picking up the pace to the upside. Let's see if that does continue. A break of the high then allows me to look for some retests for some longs. And then if I take a look at silver, a bit of a sell-off this morning. And again, that's kind of what I want to see, to be honest, because it's going to give me the opportunity. Actually, let me draw it from the daily high here. It's going to give me the opportunity to actually get into a position, because silver's been so bullish, kind of left me in the dust a little bit. If I'm going to find a trade, I do need to see price action that does take us back to these lows. And we are looking a tad bearish now. We are forming some lower highs in the lower time frames. Hopefully that does continue, and we get a solid retest of around 34.76, because that will allow me to find some entries, swing it back into the high, and see how far we can take it from there. Because of course silver, very bullish on the pair on the higher time frames. I think there's a lot of room to the upside. I've spoken about my next big target being 40, which is way up there. So in my book, there is a lot more upside to be taken advantage of for silver. It's just about timing and finding a good area for an entry. And so far, this is one. Just waiting to see if price can get there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD for now. Still pretty bearish as a whole. But I do think some upside could be on the card soon. The market is quite stretched, and I do think we need a bit of a pullback. I think probably dollar CAD, longs, Aussie dollar shorts might be the better ones to look at and focus on. Okay, where was I? Rexis, good morning, my man. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Hassan, review your position on UNSD. Okay, we'll have a look. No problem. Good morning, Darkshon. Welcome. DAX goes the gap from 26 May. Okay, which is it reverse or will it continue to dump? I haven't actually looked at the DAX since probably Tuesday. Yeah, I didn't look at it yesterday, so I'm going to go see what's going on with the DAX. And Nas and Dow Jones, no problem. Trev, what's up? Yep, your USD has gone crazy, looking very, very bullish. It's only 4:12 a.m. Well, it's 10:22 over here. Solid 6 hours ahead of you. Never trade anything other than Euro USD. Okay. I mean, again, focus is good. I mean, if you're, especially on the low time frames, because you can find a lot of opportunities on Euro USD, day to day, and it will do good for in terms of your consistency because you will get terms with Euro's price action pretty well. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, let me go through some pairs. EuroCAD, USD, then we'll go through some of the indices as well. So EuroCAD, not my biggest, I haven't actually looked at EuroCAD, to be honest, because it's not a pair on my watch list. So outside of the streams, I don't really look at pairs which are not really pairs I'm interested in. EuroCAD was never on the watch list this week, so the only time I look at the pair is during my analysis on streams. So this price action here is new to me. I thought we were still consolidating, to be honest. Yeah, big break to the upside. EuroCAD is looking interesting. It looks like we are possibly forming another higher low here to go and attack the highs again. After all, EuroCAD is still bullish on the higher time frames. We still do have somewhat of an uptrend here. It looks like this is just continuing. And of course, you've got the swing high there as well. So maybe, of course, taking into consideration Euro's looking bullish, Euro USD, EuroCAD, kind of 8 times out of 10, normally do the same thing in terms of the overall trajectory. So, yeah, with Euro looking bullish, about to approach its highs, I wouldn't be too surprised to see EuroCAD do the same. Looks like we are breaking through some structure here as well. We've taken out these highs. We've just taken out these highs as well. So it looks like we are committing to the upside. So, yeah, I would suggest if you can see this momentum continue a little bit further, I will keep a lookout on some break and retest opportunities. You've got a high there. You've got a high there. I think these are the two levels I would consider. There is a bit of a mini range here as well, which we broke out of. But I don't think I want to see price pull back that far. Because if you do pull back that far, we're pretty much back within the range again. If we can have a solid breakout and retest these levels, it's more like a break and retest of that breakout to continue back to the highs. If we pull back to this area, it's more so prices back within the range. So I probably wouldn't want to be trying to buy off there. It's a nice breakout. Momentum really ripped to the upside from that area, but it's a bit too deep of a pullback for my liking. But yeah, in terms of what we can expect from EuroCAD, well, we know the uptrend is still alive and well in the higher time frames. The fact that we're seeing a meaningful move to the upside now after a lot of consolidation probably does take us back to the high there if we can see this breakout sustain. So of course, if we were to crash back down again, I would go back to the drawing board. But if we can hold support at 1.574 or 1.57 pretty much on the dot, I think that's where you want to focus on, and maybe some targets back at the highs there. So yeah, EuroCAD looking pretty good, I must say. Looking pretty good. Euro NZD, Hassan, you said you took a short. Didn't play out too well. Okay, so your entry 1.908. So that's about there-ish, more or less. And the stop loss 1.91605. It's more or less there. So, well, first of all, again, not every trade is going to play out. So always take that into consideration. You should never take a trade with the expectation it has to play out. Of course, you should be confident with every trade, but of course, understand that, it is just a bunch of probabilities really with every position. So no matter how good the trade does look, always be prepared to take a loss, which is why as traders, we've got to manage risk and we don't go, full margin with every trade. But yeah, in terms of the entry and the location, I like it coming back into the high. The one thing I don't like about UNSD is because we've been very corrective on the way down. So I don't tend to try and short structures like this, especially when they're breaking out with a lot of momentum, because typically when we have descending market structure like this, it normally does mean we're going to break to the upside at some point, with probably a lot of momentum. So typically these patterns mean more upside. So shorting against it isn't always the best idea. Now, sometimes they do fail, which can provide some nice shorts. But if I'm going to get into a short, I need to see some very, very strong rejection at the high here to convince me that this pattern isn't going to play out and we more likely are going to roll back over. So I need to see some very kind of hardcore rejection. It's a nice shift of momentum, but doesn't really mean much, especially when, if you look at the angle of price, we're kind of just still within this channel in the lower time frame. So the degree of price and how it's moving hasn't really changed too much. If price was to kind of shift here and close beyond that, that would be a bit more of a statement. Of course, a bigger candle, maybe the risk reward won't be as great, but at least you can be a bit more confident momentum has truly shifted, and you could probably at least see a bit of downside off the back of that. But then again, even with that rejection, does it override the pattern here playing out? Probably not. So I would avoid taking shorts like that, especially when you've got structure like this. It's kind of the same thing what's going on with like dollar CAD right now. Dollar CAD is descending in some structure here. I wouldn't really want to be shorting on a breakout. So let's say if the market broke to the upside really aggressively, this is more of a pattern that represents a reversal. So I wouldn't want to be trying to call the tops on this move, because it's probably just going to be a pullback for us to continue higher. And it's the same concept with UNSD there as well. So I like the area you're shorting from, because of course you wait for price to get back to resistance, and your stop loss was above the highs as well. So that ticks some boxes there. But just in terms of the market structure, I think it's a little bit off to be looking to short. Especially when we've been looking so tight on the way down. It's not like we've been seeing a lot of bearish momentum and prices kind of pull back correctively. We've seen more of a corrective move down and a strong push up, which is actually the opposite. So that's kind of my take there on the UNSD sell. Let's take a look at the DAX. Like I said, I haven't actually looked at this one since Tuesday, when price was kind of around, I think maybe here. Yeah, because I remember I drew the channel and price looked like it was just testing the channel. But now it looks like it's breaking the channel. So yeah, I was talking about the DAX having that bigger retracement. I was talking about DAX having that bigger retracement because, of course, how corrective we're looking. It's the same situation here, by the way, with your UNSD position in terms of markets correctly pushing to the upside. We've now broken to the downside. I wouldn't want to be trying to catch some longs here to try and take it back up again, because this breakout signifies that the bears are stepping into the market, and perhaps we could see some more downside. So not the highest probability kind of location for a trade. But anyway, in terms of the DAX, nice push to the downside, price looking pretty bearish. I think this is just the natural kind of part of the price action, because of course we've been very bullish for a while. We've taken out previous all-time highs. Now we've been looking very corrective, very fatigued since that's happened. So I think price is just having a natural pullback now before, of course, we probably head back to the upside again. So in terms of how far we could pull back, I mean, I could draw a good old-fashioned Fibonacci. There's 0.382, 236. Those are some areas potentially could look at. I don't mind looking at fib levels solely in terms of the indices, because the overall trajectory of them is to the upside. So the fib levels do provide quite a lot of confluence in terms of where we could turn around. I think the 0.236 and the 382 is probably the most likely. I doubt we kind of have the bigger pullbacks like 50, 0.618, 0.786. I doubt we have a pullback that big. I feel like these are the areas we're probably going to see a pullback into before price does continue. So overall, very, very bullish for the DAX as a whole. I think from an intraday point of view, because I know you're trading like on the 5-minute chart, things are looking pretty bearish here. I think, again, another type of correction, a pullback, could look good for some shorts, maybe a retest of the low there. Been very consistent with all these lower highs. I think there's a good chance we just go and put another one in as well. So yeah, the DAX, I would be pretty bearish on this one. I like the retest of the low there, kind of taking out these highs as well. And then perhaps we see a continuation. But from a higher time frame point of view, I think there is more room to the downside. I think I'll kind of eyeball it and see how we get on. But at the moment, still looking pretty bearish. I think we're still likely to fall. In terms of the NAS 100, that one was looking a little bit bearish last time I saw it. Kind of. It looks like we're kind of trying to break out of this channel. I wouldn't say we have done yet with certainty. It looks like price is kind of testing the low end of the channel, but it's the same situation as with the DAX. Price is becoming very corrective now, looking very, very tiresome. So I do think we can push to the downside here and have a bigger pullback. How big of a pullback? Again, that's anyone's guess, really. I still do think we're likely to push to the all-time highs. So if the market does go for a bit of a sell-off, treat that as an opportunity to find some entries, probably some swing trades to take it back to where we came from. But we are looking quite tired, and we can still even spike the highs first as well. We could still even spike the highs first before we even go through that bigger pullback too. So it's not a situation where we have to have a pullback before we take up the highs. We might still continue to chug along and then see that bigger pullback. But on the 5-minute as well, I think with NAS, of course, taking into consideration where we're trading, we are looking quite corrective here. So it does look like to me we might bounce again to the upside. Yeah, especially coming from this support level, doing such a good job to respect price. I think we might go and take structure out here and then reverse to see some type of higher high and then higher low, and then maybe see a continuation. Yeah, I probably wouldn't bank on a push all the way back to the highs, but maybe back into an area like this. I think that could be a nice healthy target. But yeah, NAS to me looks like it could turn around here and see some more upside. 5-minute chart still bullish, still respecting very key support here. Nice break of structure kind of symbolizes that well, that the buyers have already stepped in. And then I would favor higher low and then a continuation of that, and that could be a nice trade off the back of it as well. And then for US 30, if I look at this one on the higher time frames too, so yeah, looking very tired. I mean, this one tried to break through the highs, didn't quite do that. So actually US 30 is looking a little bit more bearish to me. And it looks like we've broken through the trend line here as well. So yeah, US 30 is definitely looking bearish to me. NAS was still kind of testing support there. But the way we kind of had this fake to the upside above resistance, and now price is breaking to the downside here, looks like US 30 can probably still roll over as well. So again, if I drop to the 5-minute time frame with this one, I mean, we are coming to support here, so I wouldn't be looking to sell it right now. You know, this is still a pretty sturdy support. Big rejection there, big rejection there. And we are coming back into that same area. So that actually might be a nice short-term buy off the back of that. But I think as we approach this area here again, there's probably a good chance of a lower high forming and price probably coming back down there as well. So I think there might be some nice buys and some nice selling opportunities for US 30. Very strong support, kind of holding price well. But I think these lower highs probably do continue, similar to the DAX. And we probably do have another drop in store. So yeah, it's not looking too good for US 30, I would say. With the break of that channel there, the kind of fake out resistance, I think US 30 might have a bit of a drop here. Again, don't get me wrong, US 30 I'm still very bullish. If it does drop, I would just view it as a pullback, and I expect us to get back to the highs there as well. But for now, I think that daily candle closure as well, big wick to the upside there on Wednesday yesterday. It does look like US 30 can give us a bit of a stab lower. So yeah, indices looking a little bit, looks like they're struggling a little bit. Okay, where was I? We'll take a look at Euro, Raphael, Ethereum, 30-minute current price. Okay, we'll have a look at that one, Raphael. What's up, Lighton? Good to have you back on the stream, my man. Markets for the most part have been pretty slow, to be honest. They've only kind of just seen a bit of momentum since yesterday. I think the CPI has kind of been a bit of a catalyst to get the market moving again. But they've been very, very slow. Now we're seeing the yen pairs move, CHF pairs moves, USD pair moves as well. Some of the crosses are moving as well. So the market's looking a little bit interesting today. Follow the trend, what's up? Hughes, 1 hour sell candle on gold. Seems like it has short-lived, creating a V-shaped recovery. Okay, I'll have a look at that. First, we'll go for Euro, Ethereum, then we'll take a look at gold quickly. But yeah, Euro USD looking very bullish. It looks like it's just going to go and take out the highs there on the left at 1.15751. So not a lot to report on for Euro. I was hoping we can get a bigger pullback this week. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The market was kind of consolidating quite a lot here. So I was kind of hoping to see price break lower, take out some of these lows, test support again, see a higher low in comparison to that low, and then be on our way. But it looks like the CPI was just, didn't need any of that. It just broke to the upside very nicely. So yeah, Euro looking pretty bullish. Chances are we are going to take the highs out there. There might be an opportunity on a retest if the market would be kind enough to pull back. So I would suggest keep an eye on that, especially if you're looking to trade kind of hourly 4-hour chart. I think this is still a very sensible place for a long. But I'm also just interested to see what we do at the highs. Do we rip through the highs? Do we break the highs, become corrective and slow down? Do we respect the highs and turn around straight away? These are the type of things I'm looking for to kind of help for my buys for the following week and probably the following month or so, because Euro is bullish indeed, but is this trend still got life to it, or are we slowing down to turn around? I wouldn't be surprised if it's the latter, because this is a very corrective move. I wouldn't be surprised if we do form a big double top to actually reverse a little bit. But we'll see at the highs. We'll make our mind up probably maybe by Friday or going into early next week. In terms of Ethereum, so Ethereum looking bullish as a whole. Looks like it's about to clear the highs. You said you got a long position on this one on the 30-minute chart. I'm not too sure about buying. Ethereum just yet, because it looks like we're still kind of. I'm not convinced by the breakout just yet, really. I mean, it's not a bad breakout, actually. It's not a bad breakout. It could be better, though. I did say yesterday I want to see kind of this candle close bullish as well to really confirm that price is leaving the level behind. But it is closing above the level still. So I don't mind it. It could look better, but it's looking okay. So breaking retest is not too bad. Preferably, I would want it to be a bit bigger. But as long as we can hold support, it still technically counts as the break and retest. So longs are not such a bad idea. I probably wouldn't enter on a 30. I'd probably be looking more so like a 4-hour chart for an entry. 30-minute chart doesn't look too bad either. Looks like we're kind of just building up, getting ready for a bit of a buy. I think a nice entry signal would be a break of this channel. Maybe like a nice close above the high there. That could be a nice entry, confirming momentum's in your favor. Then you might see a swing back to highs and maybe beyond that as well. So I don't mind the longs here for Ethereum. We are retesting structure here. But I think a nice entry would be a close above. If we stay within the channel, of course, could still bleed to the downside as well, which would ruin things. A break of the channel doesn't guarantee anything, but at least you can be sure momentum's in your favor at that current point. and we're probably more likely to see a continuation. But yeah, we are coming to a nice area, so as long as we can hold 2700, that kind of area, yeah, I would be bullish on Ethereum as well. In terms of gold, I'm still waiting to buy gold. I'm not so interested in selling gold at the moment. I understand that things are looking a little bit tricky here. I know we had that big kind of bearish candle there, which kind of skewed things quite a lot. But the way I see it is that we had this corrective move, and if price did want to sell off, I kind of would expect us to sell off by now. The fact that we had such a solid break of this structure last week, support there, strong break on Friday. Now we've had a very corrective pullback back into the same zone. I've been expecting price to kind of rip to the downside. But we broke to the upside yesterday, and now we're actually respecting that area of support. So I'm not convinced about the sell here for gold. I'm more favoring a push to the upside here. I think that's the more likely move. Of course, if we were to kind of break this kind of trend line, then I'll be a bit more convinced. But yeah, I'm more kind of favoring price pushing higher, especially with the wick, the way we kind of close in the 4-hour chart, big wick into that zone as well. Gives me a bit more confidence that price can still push to the upside. So gold, I'm still bullish on. I mean, I'm not looking to buy it necessarily until we break the highs, and then I'll try and find a retest. So it's not that I'm trying to actively buy gold right now, but if this can continue, take these highs out, create new highs somewhere, then yeah, I'll be looking for some entries to take it back into 3,500, which is the swing high. So yeah, strong sell in the low time frames, but the way that we kind of mapped out, the way that we're still respecting support there, I think price can still break higher. That's what I'm favoring at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see if we can break the highs. That's the key thing for me. Morning, William. Welcome to the stream. DT, what is up? I am doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Okay. That's good. More wins and losses. That's good. That's good. That means you're kind of a bit more in tune with the market. That's great to hear. But yeah, I mean, again, throughout the trading year, you'll go through some spells where you're winning more, and you go through some spells where you're losing more as well. And there's not going to be a straight kind of linear improvement throughout the whole year. It's going to be ups and downs as the market conditions change. Your form changes, your performances will change. The key thing is, of course, just making sure that the risk is managed, so you can make sure you can ride out all of those kind of ups and downs throughout the year. Of course, focusing on improving, reviewing your trades is a massive part of the game. Looking back to see what you did, where you bought, where you sold, where you entered, where you exited, and kind of seeing that reference back to the market, what it actually happened. That will help kind of give you a bit more confidence going into the future, but that's good to hear. Keep it up, DT. Raheel, Euro Index. Okay, we'll take a look at that. It's been a while. I mean, isn't the Euro Index just look very similar to Euro USD? But we'll take a look. DMAR, JPY basket. Yes, I'll take a look. That's been very interesting as well. John, good morning. Hope you're well. What's your take on US 30, NAS 100? Okay, I'll take a look. Ameth, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. No problem, Hassan. Happy to help. Yes, Raphael, we have looked at Ethereum. Pound CAD, Lighten, no problem. We'll take a look. So I'll go through. I feel like I've missed a pair. If I have missed the pair, just drop it in the chat. I'll go through the Euro Index, and we'll take a look at the JPY basket as well. So is the Euro Index just, is it EXY? Oh, that's EDY. I think it's this one, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, again, it looks very, very similar to Euro USD pretty much. It's just a gappy Euro USD, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, the market's still very bullish. It looks like we're about to push back to highs there. It's the same situation with Euro in terms of the trend is still alive and well, but it is major resistance. So things can change there. Things can turn around. We could reverse at that level. We might spike it through and then see a big pullback afterwards. So the trend is still up, but we are looking a bit more tired in this wave. So I'm not as bullish as I have been with euro. Yes, the trend's still up. I'm not expecting us to suddenly reverse. But as we approach the highs, that's kind of where my interest lies in terms of what we do next. Because again, as a trader, I'm not really looking to try and buy the market into the high. Ideally, I want to be in the trade further down. Because I'm not, I'm kind of just waiting to see what price does at the high. And then I can make my mind up whether I'm looking to sell euro or buy it. But that's the move that I'm favoring over the next kind of day or two, which of course is pretty much what we're seeing on Euro USD as well. In fact, Euro's about to take out the highs a lot closer. But yeah, Euro looking pretty bullish. If I head over to the JPY basket, that's been interesting. We'll go through some yen pairs as well. But yeah, the JPY basket, we did see a bit of yen strength yesterday. Actually, more so the early hours of this morning. But yen did find support, had a bit of a push up. I'm still not quite convinced, really. I did say yesterday I'm still looking to see if the yen can push back into support down here, around 6,600. We have cleared lows here, but looks like we did it very correctively. That, of course, has given us a bit of a move to the upside. Do I expect price to suddenly be bullish from here? No, not really. I think we might just push up, form another lower high like we've been doing. And from there, probably give us another push back down again. So that's really what I'm framing with the yen basket. I'm not seeing any kind of significant piece of information, at least technically, that tells me to be looking for a big swing just yet. I still think that's the bigger move for the yen, but I'm not seeing any information that says, okay, that's the move I should be looking to try and trade just yet. So yen basket, although looking a bit bullish now, I do think we are just getting ready to form another lower high. There's a bit of a trend line there. Perhaps we move coming, back into that kind of trend line territory, respect that area, then maybe we kind of have a rollover from there. But yeah, looking very bullish at the moment. We're back above this level here, so support is holding. Again, that could take us back into the trend line. But until we start to take out some of these highs, I'm not quite convinced about a bigger move to the upside just yet for the yen. So this is kind of what I'm favoring. Okay, so yeah, as I said for US 30, it's looking a little bit interesting now. Price has kind of broken through the channel here. And we kind of have a bit of a fake out yesterday. You can see on the daily chart, I really like the wick there to the upside. So I think US 30 might be due a bit of a move down. How are we doing in reference to the 200 moving average? Not really doing much with it. We're kind of just breaking above, breaking below, not really respecting it well. But it looks like we are failing at resistance there. I mean, you could probably look at this as a big double top potentially. Resistance there. Tried to break it on a few occasions. Wednesday's candle, big failure there. And now looks like Thursday stepping with some momentum. So in my book, it looks like we could be seeing some bearish momentum here for US 30 now. I still do expect us to return back to the highs. I still think that's the way we go. But we might be going for a bit of a pullback first. So if anything, there could be some shorts here, some counter trend shorts. You could try and catch it on the breakout like that. That could end up being a nice trade maybe for a day or two. Again, I do think that's the counter trend move, so I wouldn't try and hold onto this for anything special. Maybe approach the lows here again. I think that would be a nice position, but I would definitely probably look to lock in some gains or manage the trade at some of those lows. But yeah, I do think US 30 can see a bit more downside here. We've been looking very tight on the way up, and the fact that we failed the highs kind of does set the tone in terms of being bearish in US 30. So yeah, at least for now anyway, I do think we can see a bit of a drop for the Dow Jones. In terms of NAS 100, this one is still looking tight as well. It hasn't quite broke out the channel. Hasn't quite broke out the channel yet, so I can't be fully bearish yet with NAS. But you can see the way we're moving. Very tight. Market's very corrective. It's still just about respecting the low of the channel, so again, we might still rally off the back of that. But I do think we're getting ready for a drop. Of course, we've got the all-time highs there. I fully expect price to create new all-time highs pretty soon. I'm not too sure if we go and take the highs first and then drop, or drop first and then take the highs. That's going to be up to the market to decide. But I'm not really seeing anything to do within here. Unless you're on the lower time frames like 15, 5 minute, there might be some kind of intraday setups there to trade. But from a swing perspective, which is kind of what I'm looking for, I would want price to have that dip first before I look for buys. Because, yeah, with how tight we're looking, it doesn't really give you much motivation to be trying to buy NAS at these prices. It is looking very, very flat. Excuse me. So yeah, indices looking tired. I think we're due a pullback. And looks like the DAX is ahead of the game a little bit. Excuse me. Voice is getting a bit croaky. Okay, where was I? Pound CAD, lighten. Okay, we'll take a look. Pound yen, yep, we'll take a look. We'll go through some of the yen pairs. I haven't actually looked at the yen pairs yet, so I do need to go take a look. Ahmed, good morning, my man. Hope you're well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Temel, welcome to the stream. Yes, we'll take a look at Euroc Chef. Ali Reza, are you asking Lighton, is he married, or are you asking if I'm married? Interesting question, though. Okay, so where were we? Pound CAD was the next one, correct? I think it is. Again, if I do miss out a pair someone's requested, you can always drop it in the chat again. But yeah, in terms of Pound CAD, I've been keeping a close eye because, again, when I'm looking at Pound USD, I normally keep an eye on Pound CAD, and same thing with Euro USD as well, with EuroCAD, as they're very correlated. I'd say 75, 80% of the time, Pound CAD, Pound USD do the same thing. Overall, they've both been pretty bullish, Pound CAD as well. We've had a bit of a drop for Pound CAD, and I was talking about some sells, not last week, the week before, about the retest of this range. We just about saw that. It's been a very corrective move down. It's not like we've retested and completely sold off. It's been a very corrective push down there. But yeah, looking at how price is shaped up, it looks to me that price has now formed another higher low, and we possibly could be ready to now see some continuation back to highs again. I did say watch out for the sell, because even though, yes, the market's been very corrective on the way up, it's due a bit of a drop. It could just be a pullback for us to keep going. And that's kind of looked like what has happened. We've pulled back into a nice area of demand. Looks like we've formed this kind of flag pattern, if you will. Correction 1, correction 2, and perhaps now we can actually see some follow through that. So yeah, Pound CAD to me is looking pretty bullish here. I mean, it's not very bullish, but I do think we can see some more upside. I think in terms of a good opportunity, a break out of this level here, I think that really gives us the the green light that we'll probably see a push back into the highs now, which I'll kind of draw up there, 1.874, or at least the highs here anyway. And yeah, maybe some new highs there as well. So overall, Pound CAD looks like we're seeing more upside. Euro CADs, of course, we just had a look at that. That looks pretty bullish to me as well. So I think Pound CAD will be slowly looking to join the party. Of course, Euro is a lot stronger than Pound at the moment, so that's kind of a little bit ahead of it. But I do think Pound CAD will eventually catch up a little bit. So yeah, Pound CAD, I would say bullish. I wouldn't be looking to buy now. We're kind of just still struggling at this channel right now. So not the best for entries, but I like the way we rejected the lows. I think if we can break the high here at 1.857, Pound CAD is probably likely to continue to push up. Okay, so we'll take a look at Pound Yen next. I still need to go through the rest of the Yen pair. So yeah, Pound Yen, interesting this morning. Of course, we just looked at the Yen basket. That's looked quite bullish, but I do think it's only temporary. Just a quick recap, I do think the yen basket is only just pushing up slightly to give us that sell later on. We've got a trend line there to look out for. This rejection hasn't been anything crazy. That tells me the market's reversing to the upside. So that's still my thinking, still my bias, and a return back to support. So taking that into consideration, looking at pound yen, with similar market structure, we've got a bit of a trend line here as well. You can even connect that low. We've got a similar trend line here as well. So we could perhaps be seeing the same thing and a push back into resistance there too. I mean, after all, that's all price is doing really with pound yen, respecting highs, respecting lows. So it really depends what price does at 196.5 and also at the trend line, which is around 194.4. So in terms of bias for pound yen, I think I'm just going to wait for price to break out really, because I'm kind of 50-50 with my bias. I can see good reasons why I could expect market to sell off completely and potentially push back into some daily swing lows down here. And I can also see a world where price does break to the upside and pushes back to 199. So I can see price going both ways. And again, as a trader, it's not really a big deal in terms of trying to predict the market, because if you predict the market, well done. If you predict it incorrectly, you can still walk away with the winning trade as long as you can adapt and switch your bias when you need to. And at the moment, price is kind of just consolidating. So if I can see price commit to the upside above the high here, then that gives me an opportunity to think about the buys on a retest of that level. Likewise, if you are to break through the trend line, well, then I can perhaps start looking at some shorts. Same kind of thing with the yen basket as well. So pound yen, I don't really have too much to say about this one in terms of a trade opportunity. There might be something, again, at the trend line there. If you can see some healthy rejection, there might be a nice buy to keep kind of buying these dips, buying the higher lows, taking it back into resistance. That still could be an opportunity, but I would wait for us to commit outside of this kind of wedge before we really commit with a bias. So yeah, not quite ready yet with a bias with pound yen, but that's kind of the levels I'm looking at. Euro CHF, Tamil, let's take a look. So yeah, CHF pair sold off. I did get stopped out at break even for my Aussie trade yesterday. I'll quickly go through that. So I was long an Aussie CHF from this area. I managed to trail stops to break even after I saw a close above the highs here, which is just about came on Tuesday, and that allowed me to go to break even. But then after CPI, we had a bit of a sell-off, and that knocked me out of the trade. I think I managed the trade well there, to be honest, because after breaking out, breaking structure, there's no reason for me to still keep risk on and still allow myself to go into drawdown. Because at that point you've already caught the move that the market gave you. Of course, I was looking for a lot bigger move. I was looking for price to at least come back into these areas, so I was expecting a bit more of the move. But of course, the market's going to give you what the market gives you, and then it did reverse there pretty aggressively. I'm still bullish on the pair, so my bias hasn't changed. We are coming back into support, so now it's up to what price does at this area if I'm going to get back into a trade. But CHF did become very, very strong yesterday, and all the CHF pairs did have quite big sell-offs. Euro CHF not as much though, and that's simply because Euro has been quite strong, stronger than CHF, of course. And you can see this is actually kind of keeping up a bit of a bullish move here. So I don't really know what to do with Euro CHF just yet, because I would still class this as in the range. I know I'm bullish on the higher time frames in terms of where I'm expecting price to end up. We've had numerous rejections of support here. I do think price is actually slowly getting ready for a big break to the upside, maybe back to resistance at 0.64. So I am pretty bullish long term with Euro CHF. But in terms of a decent opportunity, I would probably just wait for the high to break, then discuss some opportunities above that. I think that would make the most sense because I don't want to get involved in all of this mess. This is still very choppy, very sideways price action, which is a fast way to give back your profits to the market and just take a lot of unnecessary stop loss just because of how the market is fluctuating. So it's always difficult to find entries in that area. But should we break above it with some healthy momentum, there could be some nice entries to take some longs there and start talking about a push back to the high. After all, this support level's really rejected price well. So I do think it's about time we do turn around. So Euro CHF, I'm bullish on the higher time frames. Not quite bullish yet in the 4-hour chart because we haven't had the breakout. But this is what I'll be waiting for. Of course, we might get to resistance and sell off again. I'm not really interested in that move, but keep an eye on that. This is something I think could look good. And hopefully it provides some more momentum because we've been consolidating for a while. I feel like a sharp breakout is likely to come. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the CHF, well not CHF pairs, just Euro CHF. I'm still quite bullish on the CHF pairs as a whole, by the way. So I'm still looking for longs on Aussie Swiss. Still looking for longs on New Zealand Swiss, CAD Swiss, Euro Swiss. So that's still the narrative I'm looking to play. But yeah, CHF has been quite strong, so I'm gonna have to be patient with that. Okay, where were we? Okay, BTC I'll take a look at as well. Pound NZD we'll take a look at as well. UJ, sure thing. Ahmed, no problem. Good morning, Lauder. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, I'll go take a look at BTC. So last time I checked, Bitcoin had a bit of a drop, didn't it? Yeah, I still would be bullish on this one. Again, nothing inherently crazy. It's not like we've gone and broken through some lows here. The market is allowed to see some downside. Doesn't have to be moving up in a solid, straight line. There will be pullbacks, of course. And I think this is a good one as well, especially if you can show respect to this area here at 106,700. If price can come here, provide some nice wicks, reject it well, I think that's a nice place for a buy because last week, I was talking about the breakout of this channel. I said if price can clear the channel here, I think if price can clear the channel here, I'll be looking at a push back to highs, which is around 112k. We had a solid breakout. At that point, I thought price was just going to end up back at the highs without the pullback. Now it looks like the pullback's happening. It's a little bit steep, I must say. It would be nice if it was a bit more corrective, but again, we'll make up our minds how price reacts with this level. But if we can hold 106,700 roughly, then yeah, I'll be looking at price returning back to highs and returning back to the swing high, the all-time high at 112. If we were to break below this, again, it doesn't necessarily make me bearish, but it does kind of ruin the bullish setup there. Because very much still pull back into these lows, bounce and see some upside. So again, it doesn't make me bearish if we do break through that confluence, but it does kind of ruin the bullish setup there. So I'll kind of back away, maybe become a bit more neutral on the pair. But for now, still looking at upside, still looking at price returning back to 112k. So still very, very bullish for now. In terms of pound NZD, so this one's been pretty bullish as well. All the crosses were flying to the upside yesterday. NZD and Aussie lost a little bit of strength there. Pound and Euro became a lot stronger than them, especially Euro. So again, for pound NZD, we've kind of broken out of this channel here as well. So I've been pretty bearish on this pair, looking for us to roll over, return back into the lows here at 2.22. So that has been my expectation since the high here. We had a solid breaking test over there. We gave some more downside. I talked about a breaking test over here. We saw a slight rejection, but not enough to really see any continuation. And now price is, of course, breaking above the trend line. So what next for pound NZD? Well, I wouldn't really be looking to sell the pair. As I said yesterday, we're in the middle of a range here, more or less. You know, the market is very, very flat in here. So getting involved in the middle, as I said yesterday, is not really where I want to be looking to trade. I want to be trading up at the highs or down at the lows. That's where I'll find opportunities in sideways markets and ranging markets. I want to be up at the high or down at the low. If we're trending, of course, pullbacks, retests is kind of where I'm focusing on, but not really trending here for pound NZD. So at the moment, I just want to see price kind of pick up some momentum and push back to 2.27. And then we can discuss some shorting opportunities, because the head and shoulder pattern is still at play. If I go to the daily chart, you can see we're still respecting resistance here. You got once, of course, that's your head over there, and then second time over there, and that's your right shoulder. So I've been expecting this to give us the push back into the neckline, which is the low here. But of course, we've come about 3/4 of the way before we reversed here. So in terms of the opportunity for pound NZD, if I'm talking about myself here, I would wait for us to push back to the highs for two reasons. Number one, it's a very aggressive break of the trend line, which again typically does take us back to the high and the origin of the trend line. And two, we're just not in an optimal place for a short anyway. I know there is some support and resistance here, but again, like I said, in the middle of a range, not the area which I want to operate in. So for those two reasons, the sharp breakout and the fact of where we're trading, I would wait to see if we can push back to 2.27, see what type of reaction we can get there. Perhaps we can get some sells. And even if we don't get that, even if price does break through, well, if that does happen, we're probably going to push back to the highs here. So we could probably look for a pullback afterwards, perhaps a retest, maybe look to long it back to the highs. So whichever way the market does want to go, whether it's return back to these highs or return back to these lows, I'm sure there'll be an opportunity which we can trade it, most likely, as long as we don't break out and just keep flying. If the market does pull back, there should be something there for us. But this is where my focus lies, not in the middle at this level. Where the sells are going to present themselves or the buys, we'll have to wait and see how price reacts with the level. But yeah, pound NZD for now, I think a bit more upside is on the cards. And then, yeah, we can talk a lot more about 2.27 for opportunities there. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, that's been a bit of a mixed bag, hasn't it? So another pair which is still quite flat as a whole. You got resistance over here, you got support down there. The market's just been fluctuating between both of those levels. Hasn't really provided much consistency. As a whole, dollar yen is still very much in a bearish trend here. So, you know, at that point, you probably do favor push back into the low. Yesterday, we were looking semi-bullish. I was looking to see if we can push back into resistance. That didn't quite happen. CPI came into the market, and now we're having a bit of a drop. But as I said yesterday, not too interested inside of this area. This is where a lot of the noise is, a lot of fluctuation, indecision. That's not really where I want to find my entries. I want to be focusing at the low or at the high of the range, of course. So yeah, I'm just waiting to see what we can do as we do approach the lows here. Does price push again and bounce again? I mean, it has been very solid support. Once, twice, third time, fourth. So it's been a very, very solid support. If we do break the level, well then retest and continuation back to the low would be my expectation. Likewise to the upside, if we clear resistance there, a pullback, and then some longs back into 148.6. And these are the opportunities which I'm interested in. The breakout opportunities, because that's where I expect the momentum to be. But yeah, dollar yen, as I said, I wouldn't really try to do anything inside of here. It's just been a very, very noisy place to trade. I think once we break the lows here, of course, I'm not saying you're guaranteed a successful trade there. You know, we could get faked out. You know, that could happen. But of course, waiting for the retest lowers that probability happening. And at least at that point, momentum's probably in your favor, because if you do break support here, well, the chances are we are going to push to the lows there. So really put probability a bit more in your favor by waiting for one of these two opportunities. But that's the best I've got with dollar yen. Definitely not my favorite pair at this moment in time. Follow trend looking at buys. BTC buys up 106700. Where is that? Is that the level I was talking about? Yeah, it was 106700. Yeah, so I agree. I think that's a really nice place to be considering some buys. Solid resistance, clean break of the channel. If price is going to continue the momentum, I would expect it from here. If price was to break through that area, like I said, I wouldn't be bearish, but I would relax with that bullish bias and kind of just monitor price at that point. So I would want to see price hold this. If I'm still going to be favoring BTC back to highs, I don't want to see price break below that level. Okay. Where was I? Lord, I have no idea. I mean, sometimes the markets don't always correlate as well with what they should be doing fundamentally too. Sort of kind of like technicals, technical patterns fail. And fundamental analysis gives you that kind of outlying view of what the market should be doing. But there could be something else which kind of overrides that situation. I'm not too sure what that something else is, but something else globally is keeping the markets bullish at the moment. Aussie yen, okay, we'll take a look at that one as well. Yusuf, good morning, my man. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Thoughts on pound, USD, Euro, GJ, UJ, okay. I'm assuming the 15 as well. Abdi, why you choose swing trade? Maybe your better intraday opportunity. Normally because of the time horizon for swing trading, it's a little bit more favorable, gives me a bit more freedom as well, and to work on other projects too. Day trading, you kind of have to be at the chart for a certain period of time. Of course, it doesn't have to be throughout the day, but even let's say if you're going to focus on London session, you're kind of focusing from like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. Whereas swing trading, I could get a trade kind of at any time, but because I trade in the 4-hour chart, it means, and because I only take trades on 4-hour candle closures, there's only a maximum of 6 closures per day on the 4-hour chart, and pretty much 2 of them I'm asleep for anyway, so there's only 4. So in terms of kind of just planning, to work around trading as well, and to make sure that I can be at the charts to take trades when I need to. And like I said, managing trades as well is a lot slower. I don't have to be, I can take a trade and go do something else for a few hours before I have to even check my trade. If I'm intraday trading, especially like a 50-minute chart, I can't really go away for a few hours because, I'll probably be stopped out, or price would have hit targets or pull back or done a lot of stuff in 4 hours time. So the 4-hour chart gives me a bit more flexibility to work on other things as well. And just personal preference too. I like the speed of it. It allows me to do other things, but at the same time, I don't really like the fast pace of the 15 or below that, because decisions have to be very quick. You have to use bigger lot sizes, and there's a bit more margin for error as well. Higher time frames, a bit slower. You get to make decisions slower as well, which is good when you're kind of trading with more capital as well. It allows you to kind of think a little bit more. I'll probably say those are the reasons, but again, each their own. I'm not saying lower time frames is not good. It's just based on my personal circumstances, I kind of favor higher time frames a bit more, but that could change in the future as well. It's not cemented in stone. Okay, let me go take a look at Aussie yen, and I'll go through the 50-minute time frame on those USD pairs. So yeah, Aussie yen had a bit of a sell as well. So again, kind of looking at the yen basket, we had that bullish move. So yen was pretty strong the past few hours, and Aussie yen took a hit as well. I think Aussie has been weak too. So we've got a weak currency against a strong currency here, which gave us a strong shift. Now, in terms of Aussie yen, I'm still looking at this on the higher time frames. The market is still overall bearish, but based on how we've moved, I'm not really still looking to sell Aussie yen. I'm still looking to see if we can push back into resistance here, which is 95.5. We kind of still do have this inverse head and shoulder at play, which is that support dragged across, still acting as support over there. So you've got the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. And I'm still looking for a drive back into the neckline of the pattern and perhaps a break of that as well. So that's still my bias for Aussie yen. Until I see price kind of really break below that, that's when I'll probably shift my bias or at least become neutral in the pair. The sell-off we had in the past few hours hasn't really changed that bias. Now, in terms of actually still trading it, that's where it becomes a little bit difficult, because I did say yesterday that a retest of this area could be a nice place for a trade. Now, of course, in hindsight, we can see price did not respect that level at all. We just kind of kept falling straight through. There was no signs of rejection, anything. So price really did break through that level. Now we are testing some areas slightly below. There's a big wick here, which we're coming into now. Did give us a pretty meaningful sell. Now it looks like it's been held as support. It's not the most significant area. It's not going to be something where I look to base a trade from. But again, my bias is still bullish. So what I would be looking for would be to see if price can rally, perhaps form a bit of a double bottom, and then I could use that support to trade from. Because at that point, it confirms the higher low is holding, and we might see a continuation off the back of that. Preferably, you really want to be entering down here. That allows you to kind of stomach all the noise and the pullbacks. But if you're looking to get involved, I'll be looking to see if we can create a higher low and rally off the back of that. But yeah, my expectation is still swing back to 95.5, back into that resistance, and then we'll go from there. Like I said, with the yen basket, despite the bullish move we had yesterday, this still doesn't give me confidence that, okay, suddenly the yen basket is just going to fly and yen's just going to be strong. Of course, something can change fundamentally, which could drive that. If that happens, we'll take that into consideration. But right now, at least from a technical point of view, the bears to me still look like they're in control of the market. I think a push back into support here still looks very likely. So the yen basket, I think, is just going to maybe rally a little bit further, then drop. And I'm looking at a similar fate for Aussie yen. Nice push down, create some support. I think we can drive higher. So Aussie yen's still pretty bullish for that one as well. Okay, let me go take a look at the USD pairs intraday. So, pound USD looking pretty bullish there. Let me just get rid of this level because when I drop to the 15, I don't want it to be in my way. So, I mean, for the most part in pound USD, it has been a pretty big consolidation. Market has been pretty flat, so it's not been optimal conditions to be trading pound USD. Of course, if you're looking for trending conditions, if you're looking for ranging conditions, then it has been optimal. But like I said, the market's still bullish on higher time frames, so I think a break of resistance here is still very likely, and a push above that looks good. So in terms of a trading opportunity for pound, I would wait to see if we can start to form a bit of an uptrend, because we've been pretty flat. It looks like we are starting to form some type of uptrend here. I'm seeing higher highs and higher lows. Let's see if we can keep that going and break the highs. And then afterwards, sure, a pullback, a retest, some structure could present a nice trade to continue that momentum. I'm looking at opportunities on the 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, and very much looking just to gauge momentum and take advantage of that. At the moment, momentum is bullish, but we are coming to a bit of a brick wall right now. So I would avoid buying until I see evidence of price breaking the high. And then, yeah, pullbacks afterwards would make a lot of sense. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, on the 4-hour chart as well, everything is still very bullish. The uptrend is still alive. The only problem is that we are trading into resistance right now. And that could, of course, give us a big sell too. So let's not forget about that. But if we do recover, break the level, break the highs, then, yeah, 50-minute buys make the most sense to me. Euro USD, this one's been very bullish. Oh, look at that from Euro. We have just gone and taken out the highs there. So in the, 15 minutes or 10 minutes since I last looked at it, price has just gone and broken through the highs there. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy euro now, to be honest, because of course we're just trading at major highs right now. So these are sensitive regions right now. The market could go for a bit of a mini sell-off if it wanted to. So I would be looking at kind of areas further down here. I like the consolidation here. I think if we can have a nice steady pullback, that could provide a nice long opportunity to take it back into highs there as well. I did speak about the retest of this zone. I think that's a nice opportunity, more so kind of hourly 4-hour chart. But yeah, no signs of a pullback just yet. So yeah, with euro still very bullish. I think buys look very good with this one. A nice brief range there around 1.152. Looks good to me. I would want to see a nice slow pullback though. If you have really heavy momentum on the sell, I'll be careful of that, especially of where we're coming from. But if it's a nice corrective, kind of, it looks in tune with the trend, then yeah, sure. I think a nice area for a buy, take it back into resistance, and we see where we can go from there. But euro still looks pretty bullish to me. Just have to be careful because, of course, we're testing major resistance now. So keep an eye on to see how price behaves. If it's nice and corrective, that implies the trend's still alive. We're probably still going to continue. If it's a very sharp move down, very impulsive, I'll stay on my toes and maybe hold off a little bit. In terms of UJ, so USD JPY 15 has been pretty bearish. It fell at the highs quite miserably there. It had one stab, second stab, third stab, price drops, taking out these lows as well. So, I mean, for the most part, we are still pretty flat on the 15. Price action is not looking amazing. I think we can still probably have a much bigger pullback, form some type of lower high and continue lower. For the most part, this has been a very corrective descent here for the dollar yen. So I think we'll probably continue to be corrective like this and then eventually break to the upside. Then after that, I think we might see some nice opportunities to short it. Maybe on a retest of some structure somewhere. Maybe this low here. I mean, it's not the best setup, but that's probably what I'll look at. Then yeah, probably continuation back into support. So yeah, dollar yen, I do favor more downside. It's still looking very corrective, so I would expect a big pullback at some point. I think that support level there lines up pretty well with some of these lows here, so that's probably the best level I can see in terms of looking to short it. But yeah, I do expect us to continue going lower. We've had an attempt to try and continue higher. That hasn't worked out too well. So yeah, I'm looking at a bearish dollar yen now on the 15. And in terms of GJ in the 15, looking pretty bearish this morning. Nice drop into the lows there. I mean, it's not a bad place for a buy, but I do think we can probably break through that, push into the trend line here, and then see price rally. Kind of see that next major high or low. One over there, second, third, and that continuation back to highs. The way I see it, market's very flat there, drop lower, probably take out some liquidity resting below, and that'll give us probably the continuation to push higher. And of course, we are coming back into that trend line there as well. So I like the buy still for pound yen. There's a strong trend line below. We've already had some type of reaction at support here, but it looks like it hasn't really provided much. So if we can see a break of that, I think that could be a nice time to start looking to pick up some longs, especially if we push into the trend line. So yeah, pound yen still pretty bullish on, but I think a bit more downside is still on the cards here. But I have to admit, it's not the best price action. I think in terms of the easiest to understand, euro probably looks the best. Other pairs not great on the 15. But yeah, hopefully that made sense. Dark strong gold recovered all the way back to London Open. Now things get interesting. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, gold is looking very bullish. So yeah, we had that big spike lower. Looks like price just retested support. and now it's looking like it's ready to rally. Again, since we've got the break of that channel, that's made me bullish since last week. I know we had that bit sell-off on Friday, which made things awkward. Did make me bearish, but it did make me kind of back away. Now it looks like this is going to be a higher low. So if we can break the highs now, well, that does make me very bullish on gold. And then the odds of us pushing back to the all-time highs at 3,500, I think look pretty high at that point. So yeah, break and retest, I think gives us a nice opportunity. But yeah, gold, very interesting here. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. I do really appreciate each and every one of you who has liked, subscribed. It does help grow the channel and help support the channel as well. So if you can do me that favor, if you're enjoying it, it would be very much appreciated. And of course, hit the bell too so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, because of course you'll be notified. But I really do appreciate the love, guys. But yeah, to me, it looks like gold looks like it's going to try and rally through the highs now. And then hopefully we can look for some pullbacks, probably more of an hourly chart. I wouldn't look at the full hour for that. Lighten. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the bad things on if you're trading on a small account, because of course the margin could become an issue to take more positions. But yeah, I mean, that's the reality of trading small account. But again, you're not there to necessarily, with a small account, you can only do so much at the same time, which again is not great as well, because you can't really trade to your full potential, because if you can only open one trade, then if there is another good opportunity, you have to kind of let it slide. So it does hold you back a little bit. But again, you can do what you can with a small account. It's there to practice, there to gain experience with the market, placing trades, exiting trades. I think that is a huge part of the game, because anyone can go and back test and get a feel for the market. But then when it actually comes to live placing trades under pressure, that you can't really mimic until you actually do it. And that's really where trading is. Under pressure, people can, it's more difficult. Marcus, Euro NZD, sure thing. And a touch on other NZD pairs if time allows. Yep, I will take a look, no problem. Yusuf, appreciate it, no problem. Ameth, glad to help. Okay, so I'll take a look at Euro NZD. So yeah, with NZD's been a bit weak, hasn't it? The past kind of 12 hours-ish, 24 hours, 12, 24 around them. The market has, price has become, the pair, the currency has become pretty weak. And we've seen big shifts. For example, Euro NZD, big push up. Of course, Euro's been strong as well, but there's been a big contrast between the two currencies. In terms of Euro NZD, again, the overall market trend's been to the upside. I'm still looking for a bigger pullback for this one. But at the moment, it's not looking good for the sellers. I must point that out. We did take up the highs there. I've been looking for price to have a much bigger pullback since. We've had a decent pullback, but I've been looking for price to come back into the structure a lot lower. But you can see the numerous wicks we've been placing to the downside, the numerous wicks we've been placing to the upside. Essentially, we've been ranging. Of course, this candle's looking pretty bullish on the weekly chart. We've still got a day and 11 hours left, so I'm not going to read too much into that candlestick, because who knows, by Friday we're leaving another wick to the upside, and then we're just back at square one. If it does close convincingly to the upside, well, it does show us that momentum is shifted to the buyers, and perhaps this could start potentially a bit of a rally to the upside. So Euro NZD, I don't really have an opportunity just yet. It's like we're on the cusp of maybe forming some type of bullish opportunity. Like I said, we've kind of broken out this channel here. If this does sustain, especially by the end of the week, well, I think something like that could form on a retest of a high. And that could be a nice continuation trade, maybe early next week sometime. I wouldn't be looking to take the buys now, especially coming to resistance. It also looks like we're slowing down a little bit. So, like I said, by the end of the week, if we do break down and we just leave a wick on the weekly chart, well, we're back at square one. There is no breakout or change in price action. But we're looking very bullish now. If it does continue, breaks the highs well, then we could be discussing something like this in the next coming days, and perhaps maybe a bit more upside. I'm still not quite keen or quite convinced that we are going to continue back to the highs here. I think we might be bullish for a while, then eventually roll over. But nonetheless, there'll probably still be some decent buys to take advantage of. So I would definitely keep an eye on that for Euro NZD. And then some other NZD pairs, again, looking at NZD USD, I do think with this one, especially because USD has been quite weak or weaker, we've been pushing up here, but I do think this is still getting ready for a big sell. I'm not convinced with the price action at all. It's just very corrective on the way up, especially breaking through such a significant level like the level we've been respecting so well recently. Looks like it has, or it is being used as support at the moment, but this is still a very, very corrective price action. So we might still see another swing to the upside. I'm not saying that won't happen. We might still continue for a few weeks, but I do think there's a big sell to be had there for NZD USD, which kind of lines up with NZD being weak, but I think more so USD being strong in this scenario. New Zealand yen, we had a bit of a sell for that one as well. Again, I think yen played a big role in that. NZD was a bit weak, sure, but I think the yen being strong was the main driving force here. We respected the highs pretty well. Do I expect us to completely sell off here? Probably not really. I still think there's more upside to be had. We had that break of structure. We formed a higher low. I think price is just kind of pulling back to maybe form another higher low before we do continue higher here. So New Zealand yen I would still be pretty bullish on. Kind of like a nice area of demand here. That might give us another rally. So New Zealand yen, I do think we still got our upside there. New Zealand CHF, I'm still very bullish on this one as well. Just kind of waiting for a good entry, but we're consolidating we're consolidating a lot here, so it's not looking too good. I think I'll probably just wait for price to break out now. I mean, if we do break to the downside aggressively, that would make me pretty bearish for the pair. We might see another swing back into the low at that point. But yeah, I was buying here a couple weeks back. It's become very corrective now. I think I'll just let price do its thing now, leave it alone, and just wait for price to either break higher or break lower. So not a lot to comment on there for New Zealand CHF. I mean, long term, I'm still bullish on the pair. So I would still kind of wait for the break of the high and the retest, but I'm not stubborn. If price does break the low, I'll be looking to short it as well. But yeah, not really too concerned about price action within the range. It just looks a little bit too noisy. And of course, pound NZD has been pretty bullish as well. Although not really showing signs of momentum there. It looks like we're kind of stalling right now. Maybe it looks like NZD is kind of weakening a little bit. Maybe strengthening a little bit. I think pounds maybe weakening too. If I have a look at New Zealand CAD, that's been very choppy. Yeah, still within the range. Not a lot to say on that one either. So I'm getting a mixed bag, really. I'm getting a mixed bag from NZD. It's not kind of overly weak. It's stronger against some other pairs. Not getting very, kind of clear intentions from NZD right now. Same thing with Aussie too. But in terms of Euro NZD, could be looking at bullish USD in terms of looking to follow that momentum next week. But it does rely on price kind of having a bigger breakout, really. And then, yeah, short pullbacks and more upside, I think, look likely. Evening cricket, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Tapello, the way you trade is almost SMC. I mean, I've never looked into SMC before, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I mean, again, if you focus on market structure, which a lot of kind of modern retail strategies do kind of rely upon, you're looking at kind of the same thing really. You're looking to follow structure, you're looking at areas where price can turn around, you're looking at liquidity, you're looking at momentum as well, you're looking at how price move, is it corrective, impulsive, what structure is doing, structural patterns as well. It's all really the same thing, but you focus on maybe different elements or different ways to enter the market. I use candlestick patterns to enter. I don't think SMC use that, or maybe they do, I'm not too sure. But yeah, then we're trading the same market really, you know, and then the market's going to push up or push down. It's all about, are you in the right direction? You know, are you entering in the right place, and you're exiting in the right place? How you go about that, there's different ways to it, but we're trading the same markets at the end of the day. So everything's going to have an overlap. Even if it's a completely different strategy, there will be some overlap to it. Yusuf, small account prop firm, which we suggest. I mean, I would suggest prop firm because it allow you the access to have a bigger capital. With small account, it depends how small it is. But if it's very small, you can be very limited, as Lighton spoke about earlier with margin. So trading with a prop firm does allow you the access to trading with larger capital. I'm a big fan of trading with both your own personal capital and a prop firm. I think prop firms do allow you that opportunity to access large capital, which you probably wouldn't have access to on your own. So, prop firms are a great way of bridging that gap. But then, of course, you do want to trade with your own capital as well. Don't want to limit yourself to one. Put all your eggs in one basket. You want to have it spread out as well. So, I do recommend trading with both your personal capital and the prop firm accounts. I wouldn't say either one, go small account or go prop firm. I would recommend go both. But again, it depends, what you have access to as well. But yeah, I would suggest both if you can make that happen. And of course, it depends on your confidence as well, and kind of where you're at in your trading. Because if you're not quite consistent yet, then of course I wouldn't say prop firms is the right option just yet. I probably wouldn't even say. As long as you can afford to lose what's in the small account, then I would say, yeah, go for the small account. But if you're not quite there yet, I would say still kind of crack on with demo trading. Although, yes, it might feel a bit counterproductive because you're not trading live capital, but then again, you don't want to lose your capital either. So if you're feeling a little bit confident, you got some consistency behind you, then yeah, go for it. If not, there's nothing wrong with practicing a little bit more and then making the step a little bit later on. But I would recommend both. So yeah, in terms of where my kind of focus is, I'm going to kind of keep up with the yen pair, see what they do, but I think the yen has still got room to the downside, so I'm not quite ready to be shorting the yen pairs just yet. I think we've got a bit more upside there, then I think we'll probably push down. I'm going to keep a close eye on dollar CAD. I like the buys here. Oh, look at that. Dollar CAD's pushing down. To be honest, that's what I want to see happen, because I want price to come well within this zone here before I do start looking to buy. But you can see how corrective we are, kind of squeezing together, which is a good sign of price kind of slowing down, losing momentum, and perhaps getting ready for a push higher. So I do like the buys here for dollar CAD, but of course we can see that USD is looking quite weak right now. How's the DXY doing? Yeah, look at that. DXY selling off, just about taking out the lows there as well. So dollar, safe to say, we are looking very, very bearish right now. Yeah, now it's up to dollar what we do at the lows, because this is where things get interesting, because the goal of a pullback is for price to have a breather, collect more buyers, or in this case, collect more sellers to continue the trend back to lows. Price can either then reverse there, or perhaps continue, or might slightly break it, then reverse. A lot can happen at the lows. That's where things can get interesting. So my focus now, I'm going to be a bit more neutral on the dollar and just see what we do now. Does this momentum sustain? Are we going to break out and just keep dropping? Are we going to start to become a bit corrective now? Well, if we do that, I do think a move to the upside's on the way. Or do we even just respect the level outright and turn around on the level? Well, that says a lot about where price is going in the near future as well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, and that will develop my bias over the next few days. Of course, at the moment, it's still bearish. I think this is still a nice opportunity as well for a short, just because momentum still looks pretty good. I think I'll drop into a lower time frame to try and trade that. I think the best FX pair for that would be like a Euro USD breaking retest here, or even a pound. The pound can kind of speed up a little bit. I think pound USD breaking retest looks good, but we haven't quite got the break yet. So yeah, if pound could do something like that, I think that looks like a nice trade. But yeah, we're not quite there yet. But then again, for like USD CAD, I'm looking to buy dollar CHF. I feel like with this one as well, coming into a major low, I mean, it looks like that support level on the weekly chart has done its job. So you can see solid resistance, solid support there once, twice, was resistance there again. We've of course had a lovely move to the downside. Looks like price is about to go and take out those lows there as well. So yeah, I think shorts look good here for dollar CHF. I think a pullback into this area looks good. The lower high continuation off the back of that. I think that lines up with some shorts very, very nicely. And then push back down to 0.80385. It looks like a likely destination. So in terms of shorting the dollar, I think dollar CHF look good. Shorts, I think Euro USD buys and pound USD buys on the breaking retest look good as well. Aussie dollar, I wouldn't really be looking to buy, to be honest. It's a very, very choppy pair, so I wouldn't be looking to buy that. New Zealand dollar, likewise as well. Very, very choppy. I wouldn't really be looking to buy that. Doesn't mean we can't still see a continuation. Of course we can, but I don't think it's a worthy setup to look to trade. Way too corrective. Marcus, what pairs are you trading waiting for this week? Good question. I've got a few I'm looking at. There's been some changes because, of course, CPI has caused some moves in the market, so shaking up things. But yeah, I'll go through my watch list for today and tomorrow. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Okay, yeah. If you want to get used to trading live, I would suggest open a small account first. Don't go straight to prop firm because you want that kind of trading under pressure experience. And although it's a small account, yeah, it's still real money, so there's still going to be emotions tied to the deposit you have in the account. So I would recommend spend some time there first, and then you can always get a prop firm account later on. And I don't think the first account you should trade on should be a prop firm account, just because of the pressure and kind of the way you might handle it might not be best for yourself. So start a live account, a small one, train it for a few months, and then you can get yourself a prop firm account. So in terms of my watch list, well, I was trading Aussie CHF this week, but I was trailed out a break even, so the CPI didn't go in my favor in terms of the Aussie CHF position. I was long over here. I did trail to break even. I got stopped out in the early hours of this morning whilst I was snoring, so at least I wasn't awake to see it. But yeah, I was taken out for break even there. Nice move though. We did clear resistance, just didn't quite get to that high there. But I am still looking to see if I can enter some more buys for Aussie CHF from this low. I still think price can turn around here, but I'm going to need to see some very strong rejection before I do jump back in, because this is a pretty big sell-off, and the last move we had was pretty corrective, so it didn't tell me that there was a lot of buys here. There wasn't a lot of buys in this move, so I need to see some strength coming back in for the buyers if I'm going to jump into a long. In terms of USD pairs, Aussie dollar, I'm waiting for some shorts, but I think I'll wait for a push to the up end of the channel before I do look for any entries. This is kind of the area which I'm looking to try and get involved at. We've got one high, a second high, I'm looking for a third, and then perhaps a sell. Right now the market's still flat. We do have the middle of the channel kind of trading in this area, so it's not really great to be operating in those areas as well. And momentum is not looking too good either. So I'm seeing if we can go knock that resistance, test the up end of the channel, perhaps take a nice short from there. Dollar CAD, I'm waiting for some longs as well. We're kind of squeezing in this channel. We're coming back into a very big level of demand, so I do think we can bounce from here. Again, I'm not looking to jump straight into a trade. This is somewhat of a counter trend position. I'm going against momentum, so I want price to at least form support, equal lows or a higher low, and then that will be something I'll look at in terms of an entry. But in terms of a location and what I'm looking to do, dollar CAD is on the watch list. I think probably early next week this might set up. Of course, depending what USD is doing, but hopefully you can get a nice entry there in the next 2 or 3 days. In terms of the yen pairs, I'm still just about looking to short Swiss yen. Of course, Swiss has been quite strong, so it looks like we're probably breaking resistance here. But I'm looking to see what we can do as we approach this level up there. 177, massive swing high. Looks like we might be pushing back into that area. I was looking to short from this level here, but you can see price is not really doing a good job at respecting it. We have seen some nice rejection in the past, but nothing really getting us going. So I think we might push a little bit higher, test the high up there, and from there we might catch a nice sell. So I'm looking to see what we can do with Swiss yen at the highs. And also with the yen basket pushing down, I feel like the yen basket is going to hit support as well and perhaps bounce too. So if the yen basket can sell off here, I think this is a worthy area for a bounce. Solid support, big rally. Again there as well, big rally. I feel like we can get a nice reaction there too. So Swiss yen, I think, is the only yen pair I'm looking to short. I was looking at euro yen as well at the start of the week. This was coming into some nice resistance, but didn't really play ball. It broke through that level with ease, really. So I didn't get an entry there to get involved. In terms of the CAD pairs, I'm still liking New Zealand CAD buys, but it's been forever now, and I'm not too sure if I get an entry. But again, I'm just going to play the waiting game with this one. I like what I'm seeing with New Zealand CAD in the higher time frames. We've got a massive V-shaped pattern, push down, push back up again. I'm looking at this as like a massive correction. I'm looking at a continuation to the upside. But first, I do want to see price push back into the lows here. That's where I want to find some entries, away from all the noise, away from all the chaos. If I can get an entry down here, get a stop loss underneath the lows, that puts me in a nice position. And hopefully I can capitalize on a breakout to the upside. Maybe a push back to the highs there on the left. And then also Aussie CAD, which of course is a similar pair to New Zealand CAD. Another pair which I'm looking to long. We're approaching some very nice support. If I drag that across, you can see this was a very key low in the market, big drive higher. We had a massive sell through that. We have since recovered it. It looks like price is now using that as support there again. So I do think price can rally to the upside back into this high here, then eventually back into that high there as well. So if I could see another healthy rejection here, that would be enough to trigger me into a position. Basically expecting that support to hold and then a swing back into the high. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm also looking at Euro Aussie. I think that's the only one I left out, but I'm kind of on the fence with Euro Aussie because we are breaking through my level I was looking to short. So I need to rethink how I'm going to enter a position there if I am. But yeah, that bullish move after CPI probably means I probably won't be focusing as much on that pair anymore. But I do have quite a few pairs on the watch list anyway, so there's no need to try and force anything. Probably will get a set up in the next few days with one of those pairs I mentioned. As long as the entry is good, setup still looks good, that's what I'm really looking for. Okay, behind the machine, pound yen, we'll take a look. Lighten. We explain a little about the sign up for what living trades platforms and the registration. Do you go through material? But I could have missed something. Yeah, I mean there is. We do have a FAQ page which goes through all the rules in detail. So because there's only, I don't want to explain everything because I could be here for like 20 minutes. But there is a detailed FAQ page on the website. It's at the top of the website. You won't miss it. So that breaks down all the rules. But just in terms of signing up, it's pretty straightforward. You know, anyone can purchase an account with us. Like I said, you do want to read through the rules first in terms of the conditions of drawdown, or profit targets, or what type of challenge you want to do, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, or instant funding. Read about the rules. Of course, make sure that it's something that you think you can work with or work around. We do have some soft rules in terms of daily profit caps, 2% per day. It's a soft rule, so if you do make 2%, it won't fail you. It's just it will make your account read only until the next following day. We do have a max floating loss rule as well of 2.5%. Again, that is soft as well. So if you do breach it, your trades will be closed, but you'll be able to trade straight away afterwards. The only hard rules you need to be concerned with is the max drawdown and the total max daily drawdown and the total drawdown. That changes for each challenge, but those are the max kind of hard rules to be aware of. But yeah, like I said, depends on the challenge you're taking. But we've got different challenges you can look at, and based on kind of your style of trading, you can choose which one kind of suits you best. But in terms of all details explained in a lot more detail than I just did there, head over to the FAQ page. You'll find out a lot more. Okay, so I'll go through pound yen. Oil, Alex, sure thing. We'll take a look at as well. Okay, let me go to. So yeah, pound yen, I don't really have a set bias for this one because price is kind of just squeezing between a trend line and resistance. So I'm kind of just waiting for price to pick a direction, really. I've got targets to the upside and to the downside, really. So whichever way price does move, it's not really a big deal. Because if we do break higher, well, I'm looking at a push back to the highs here. And I'll be looking for a break and retest above that level. If we do decide to break the trend line and break to the downside, well, I do think this bearish structure is probably likely to continue at that point. And we'll probably see a swing back into the low there. So at that point, I'll be looking at pullbacks on the way down or retest somewhere to trade it back into the low. So whichever way price does want to go, I should be able to try and find something from that, or at least I have a plan for it. At the moment, we're kind of just squeezing in this channel. So as I said, I'm not really looking to trade within this. If price can give me a solid break to the upside, great. I'll look for some entries there. Like I said, if price does break lower, then I'll look for some entries, maybe in a retest some structure somewhere. Depends how everything shapes up, depends on momentum and how far we have a breakout, but these are really the opportunities I'm waiting for. Inside that kind of wedge, not really so concerned about trading pound yen because it's very indecisive and the risk reward's not great as well, especially on the time frames I'm looking at on the 4-hour chart. If you're intraday, you might find a bit more meaningful swings there, but 4-hour chart, you're not looking at anything probably worthwhile there. In terms of oil, what's this one been doing? Ooh, look at that. Very bullish. So it looks like price did break above 66. Last time I looked at oil was, I think was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I was talking about this channel here. I said price is still just about respecting this channel. So I would wait to see if we could break below the channel or maybe form some type of double top and then get a sell. I think that could be a nice entry, but no, we had a very big push there. But again, it doesn't really matter because now that we're above the level, this of course turns into support. I think this would be a great place for a buy. First major target back into this area of supply here, which is 71.72. So now that we're above the level, I will now be bullish. I think, did we get daily close? Yes, we did. So now this has turned support. Of course, if we were to break back below, that would change things, but you know, let's not overcomplicate things. We're above support now. This is now support. And I would just be looking for another higher low here. 1, 2, 3. Can we find number 4? Take it at least back into these highs, but I do think we can go back and test that supply area at 71. So yeah, oil looks like it's committed to the upside here, broken above 66 like it wasn't even there. So if you can come back and retest it, I think that's a great place for a buy. And you're looking at a pretty decent swing trade, at least back to the highs here, there. If you want to push the trade further, you've got an opportunity to do so as well. But yeah, oil, very, very bullish yesterday. I think we can see more of that as long as 66 holds. So yeah, looking very, very bullish, I must say. Yusuf, okay, looking to short gold. Okay, not bad. I mean, that's a good way to kind of put into practice, especially in the channel. You know, in the middle is not optimal. It's just not optimal. Not to say that you won't be able to find a trade there, because of course it's just probabilities. You know, from time to time you will find some winning trades in the middle of a channel, but that's just the worst place to get involved. It doesn't make any sense, really. You know, when you got the market which is operating in the channel, doesn't matter if it's an ascending channel or a descending channel, or if the market's just completely flat in a horizontal range. In the middle is where you get the most speculation. It's when prices are equilibrium. You know, buyers and sellers are equal match. Here you're going to see shifts. You know, whether buyers will step in and take price higher, or sellers will keep driving price lower, and then perhaps you can look for a retest for a continuation. Likewise to the upside. You know, those are the areas which you want to operate in. I'm not saying you won't. You will always get, you know, winning trades here. You know, you can still get faked out, but the thing is, if you do get faked out, you can always re-enter, and because of where you're situated, your risk reward is always a lot better than if it was here. And I feel like when price does bounce from the low of a channel and pushes to the 50% of the range in the middle, this is where things get awkward. Sometimes price doesn't see a full swing to the up end of the range. Sometimes you come back down again. So at least if you entered here, you can at least lock in some gains. Whereas if you enter in the middle, that's probably a losing trade there for you. So it's just not optimal to enter in the middle. Always look to try and position yourself at the bottom or at the top of ranges. It just gives you such a better place to operate in. Yeah, so that's a good good use of that kind of piece of information, Yusuf, because middle of the channel is not optimal at all. Yeah, learned that the hard way. You want to be focusing at the lows of things. And same thing for like a pattern like this, where you got, you know, lower highs there, but then equal lows here as well. You don't want to get involved in the middle here. Yeah, you want to get involved down here or up there. Of course, hindsight is beautiful, but you know, that's just the rule of thumb. Why do I want to find an entry here when I can probably find much better entries up there? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I think in terms of focus now, we don't really have major news. I think we still do have PPI coming up later, so got to keep an eye on that. But I'm going to see what Aussie dollar does. I'm going to see what CHF JPY does. I'm going to see what still looking to short this one. See what Aussie CHF does. CHF looks pretty strong right now, so that's going to have to shift big time if we're going to find an entry. But it's still trading at a nice area where I do think we can bounce from. So I'm going to keep a close eye on those, and if I do get into any positions, I'll let you guys know as always. But we have come up to the end of the stream. I do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in and chatting with myself. If you have found the stream useful today, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel as well, and of course hit the bell so you can always check out one of the streams or an upload you know, when it does go live. So make sure you go and do that as well. But thank you everyone to tuning in for another stream. I will be live again tomorrow, so you know, if you do want to see more of me, tune in again, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. I will be live again today with Trader Nick on his channel later this afternoon, just after the news. So if you are interested, go over to his channel, go check out that stream as well. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.